You might have tried convincing someone, likely many times, but the more you tried, the worse it got. They just started resisting more than ever. And you might have wondered why is this so? And what is the effective way to bring someone to your terms? So why do people resist? People resist because they hold on to their beliefs. In a research by Jonas Kaplan, fMRI scans were taken from test subjects to study how the brain responds when people are confronted with ideas challenging their beliefs. And the results were absolutely shocking. So this is how fMRI works basically. fMRI measures the blood flow in the brain. So where there is more flow, the neurons are more active, and it shows up in the color-coded brain images called bold signal maps, with the red and orange areas showing high activity. Now, when subjects were presented with statements that challenged their beliefs, deeply held beliefs, and confronted facts that contradicted their beliefs, the amygdala, which is the fear center, and the insula, which is the pain and the emotion processing center of the brain, showed high activity. Now, this pattern looked very similar to how the brain reacts when it feels physical danger or threat. It's very much a biological response as it is an emotional one. In a perfect world with truth seekers, beliefs would not exist, but that's not the case in reality. Beliefs are escapes for people who do not know something and don't want to know about it. So they create a concept to indulge in and hide in it. Belief by nature is a lie. So why do people hold on to the beliefs? People hold on to beliefs due to fear, and this fear comes from societal conditioning. If they do see through the lie of belief, they would come face to face with the reality that all the time they have spent believing the lie was a waste. All the pain and misery they went through for the belief was for nothing. They would be just devastated. This state of discomfort is called cognitive dissonance, which people experience when holding conflicting beliefs, attitudes, or behaviors. And they would have no choice but to question the belief and get to the truth. But someone who starts questioning the beliefs is rejected by the society of believers, is tortured, and is left isolated. This person who is figuring it out would be going through a phase of absolute uncertainty and insecurity, and society's resistance would just make it worse. And it isn't the external world that is the society, even the closest loved ones are part of the same society, which would make matters worse by ridiculing and disturbing the person's isolated private life, making it miserable as well. So, this entire chain of events, which is a reaction from the surroundings that make the questioner hesitate, prevents people from questioning their beliefs and forces them to hold on to their identity so they would fit into the society of these beliefs and lies. Now, the question is, if people do hold on to beliefs, then why do some question anyway? The ones who do question do so because they go through misery caused by the belief and want to break free of it. An exposure to some truth, some mismatch or discrepancy has poked a hole in that behavior, in that belief, and this causes the conflict in the mental structure, which is a form of misery. A perfectly brainwashed person with no doubt would never hesitate or question it like a terrorist. They'll be prepared to defend their ideology, even if it is false, with their lives. The way your brain sees you is like a story, a tapestry of all events that ever happened and are stored in your memory. The DMN, which is the default mode network, creates this story with your memories in the posterior cingulate cortex, the PCC, and your self-image from the medial prefrontal cortex, which is the MPFC, working alongside these parts called angular gyrus and the hippocampus, which makes the fantasy about the future and the narrative of your place in the social world. Beliefs are a part of this network that shapes the story of your life. And when this story becomes too unbearable due to misery and you want to change, this entire network has to be rewired, a mechanism called neuroplasticity, which exists to adapt to changes in cases of errors in the existing system, and it is highly energy consuming. This rewiring will change your story forever. So, what is the way for the truth seeker? If a person desires to question his or her beliefs, The only effective way would be to change the environment, live among people who are open to questioning, and get exposure to truth seekers and the drive of truth seeking. Farewell.